Okay, chat, welcome to today's episode and welcome to the Chi Challenge. I know today you probably have seen more than one episode because there have been up to 3 episodes today. But thank you so much for tapping in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you and welcome to the Chi Challenge. Today we have a jam-packed episode for you guys. In today's video, we will be talking about um Snoop Dogg. We'll be talking about how Lauren London and him are cool, although Snoop Dogg happens to be partners with what's his face? Big U. And if we all know the story correctly, Big U is allegedly has some kind of ties to the demise of Nipsey Hussle, meaning that Snoop Dogg and Lauren London shouldn't be friends because Lauren London is Snoop Dogg's is Nipsey Hussle's wife, and Snoop Dogg is besties with Big U, and Big U and Nipsey, it never, it didn't end well. You know what I'm saying? It didn't end well, guys. So I'm just saying it's gonna be crazy. I also know you guys are taking a look at the wheel here. It's called Spin the Fucking Wheel of Destiny. And when we spin this motherfucker here, whatever the wheel says, we do. So there's a few things that we have on this wheel, like go watch a police cam video, go continue watching your stream, end your stream prematurely, spin again, lose again, zero money on Cash App. And also I did put in there, give away $5 on Cash App, guys. So if you guys are watching and you happen to be the lucky person who watches this happen, you're gonna have only a few moments to type in the chat winner. The first person I see that they type in the chat winner, I will Cash App you $5. All right, that's how the $5 Cash App works. So if you guys are watching and this wheel here gets spun and it says give away $5, you have to write winner in the chat as fast as you can. The first person who writes winner gets $5 Cash App. I will call your name out. You will message me, which I will see personally here on my phone. So even though I'm streaming, I will see your message. I will chat with you. You will give me your Cash App. I will send you $5. Copy? That's how that's going to go, guys, for the $5 giveaway. Because this Christmas, we're going to be running the $5 giveaway till the end of the month. I mean, till Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, we might switch the $5 giveaway to, who knows, maybe $100 giveaway. We don't know. That's what we call it. Spin the fucking wheel of destiny. So that way, when we spin the fucking wheel of destiny, it's left to destiny as to what the wheel will say. Now, if you guys would like to see how this wheel of destiny works, I could give it a spin real quick, but it'll just be a spin. We will not be committed to what it says. We will just see to show you I have no control over what happens with the wheel of destiny. Okay, guys? So let's go. Let's try it. Keep streaming uninterrupted. There you go, guys. That's how the wheel of destiny works. It says keep streaming uninterrupted. That's what we'll do. We'll get right into our episode. And now you guys know the wheel of destiny is not fake. It is a real thing. And when I tell you that we put prizes on the wheel of destiny, be prepared for that because we will be doing giveaways. I have stuff that I have to give away, and hopefully you guys are into getting stuff. All right? So when do we do the spin the fucking wheel of destiny? It happens randomly, chat. Whenever you see this fucking red thing here, just stay in the fucking live. Don't go nowhere. Because when we spin this thing, somebody could win money. So you don't want to miss the wheel of fucking destiny. So don't fucking miss. Spin the fucking wheel of destiny, guys. That's what we're here for. Now, we already spun it. If you don't believe me, just rewind the stream. You'll see I spun this bitch. And it says keep streaming uninterrupted. That is exactly what we'll do. Now, guys, once again, I will outline for everybody who wasn't here when I said this earlier. When we spin the wheel of destiny and somebody wins money, if it says give away money to Cash App, give away money through PayPal, give away money through Zelle, wherever it says give away the money, you guys have to type winner as fast as you can. The chat will determine who's first. Wherever comes out first, blame it on your internet connection. But once it says who you are, then you message me because I'm going to announce you. So then when I announce you, you message me. You cannot claim prizes unless you're the first person who wrote winner. Copy? Good. All right. Now let's get back to our episode, guys, and we are on our schedule. Now, guys, this is going to be an episode by Rap Daily, who has 414 subscribers. I'm going to go ahead and like this. And this is new footage that Snoop Dogg with Nipsey's girlfriend after his murder confirms what we all suspected. So, chat, welcome to this episode of the Cheat Challenge. And we halfway through this episode, somewhere around here, 9 minutes. 9 minutes, 9 minutes. We're going to spin the fucking wheel of destiny again. So, guys, if you want a prize, stick around. You could come up with a cash prize if you stick around for spin the fucking wheel of destiny. Okay, guys? And like I said, there will be prizes injected here. If sponsors give us something to give away, we'll put it in the Wheel of Destiny. If anybody gives us anything, we'll put it in the Wheel of Destiny. And then we'll spin the fucking Wheel of Destiny. All right. So the fucking Wheel of Destiny will be spun once or twice a stream. That's it. Prizes will be announced before I spin it so you know what's involved. However, there will be mystery prizes. For this wheel, there is a $5 Cash App cash prize if you want to be the person who wins $5 so you can know that this is not fake. This is the fucking Wheel of Destiny. All right, guys? So here we go. Let's get right into our episode. And this is from Rap Daily, guys.
But now, new Florence.
Did you get some of that good Snoop weed?
I've smoked with Unc before, yeah.
That was Lauren admitting she was close with Snoop. And at first, everyone thought it was just a normal friendship. But now, new footage of Snoop and Lauren together is raising eyebrows. Some people believe it confirms a hidden connection, maybe even that she played a role in setting him up. Let me break it down. Snoop and Lauren London, new footage. That's all it took to send the entire hip-hop community into a frenzy. Footage that doesn't just show Snoop Dogg smiling for the cameras or doing one of his laid-back Uncle Snoop skits, but footage that puts him side by side with none other than Lauren London, Nipsey Hussle's longtime partner, in the aftermath of Nipsey's murder. You see, Lauren London isn't just another mourner in Nipsey's circle, she is Nipsey's circle. From her heartbreaking tribute at the Staples Center to her powerful speech at the BET Awards, Lauren became the voice, the image, the symbol of Nipsey's loss. Whoever stood next to her wasn't just standing next to Lauren. They were standing next to Nipsey's entire empire. After Nipsey's death, Lauren wasn't just the grieving partner. She became the public face of his memory.
Yeah, but you don't know till it's at your front door. I always say the front row at the funeral is different. You know, when you have to sit on, like, you know, I've been at a lot of funerals.
I bet.
I've never sat front row at one. That's different.
What does that do to you?
Shift your perspective on life. You know what I mean? Make you see not only that is life short, but that it's a gift. You know, and because everyone's time is so different.
The way she spoke about him, as we just saw, turned her into the living embodiment of his memory. Brands put her front and center in campaigns honoring Nipsey. Award shows handed her the mic for tributes. Documentaries leaned on her voice to carry the story of his impact. She was everywhere, not because she wanted to be, but because the culture demanded it. People wanted to see her, to hear her, to know Nipsey's story through her. That turned her into something more than a partner. She became a chess piece. If you stood beside Lauren, you stood beside Nipsey's memory. And that's why this clip caused such an uproar, because proximity to Lauren meant proximity to Nipsey's legacy. And in a world where that legacy was already being fought over, Snoop's presence in that frame didn't look innocent. It looked calculated. But to understand why people reacted the way they did, you need to step back to the moment Nipsey was killed. When those shots rang out in front of the Marathon store, Los Angeles didn't just lose a rapper. It lost a community builder, a businessman, a man who had risen above the block while still holding it down. And when a man becomes bigger than his block, the fallout is never simple. Love is matched by jealousy. Loyalty is matched by betrayal. In the immediate aftermath, Nipsey's brother, Black Sam, became the protector. He wasn't just mourning, he was defending. He made it clear that Nipsey's empire would remain under family control, and that anybody who disrespected his brother's name would face consequences.
That disrespect, bro. When you in that prison, bro, you better smack. In that prison, ain't nobody disrespected, bro.
These weren't empty words. They were a warning shot. Sam knew vultures would circle. He knew opportunists would move in, and he wasn't about to let Nipsey's empire become a feeding ground. But here's where things got messy. Nipsey's empire wasn't just built on contracts and businesses. It was built on relationships, and relationships are fragile. Even among Nipsey's closest people, fractures appeared. Brick Baby admitted that he and Black Sam had their own clash after Nipsey's death, and the fight was about loyalty.
It basically was like, you rocking with him? Like, you rocking with him? I'm rocking with my brother.
This is what Nipsey's loss did. It forced people to pick sides. It made every alliance suspect. It turned grief into suspicion. And then came Charleston White's explosive claim. He said the truth nobody wanted to admit out loud. Nipsey was killed not just by one man, but by the jealousy of his own set.
All the big homies in the set was jealous of Nip, because all the young Nip. Nip got bigger than the program, so Nip got clipped to Nip.
Think about what that means. If Nipsey was clipped because he rose too high, then his empire wasn't just under attack from the outside, it was under siege from the inside. And this is where the industry enters. Because while the family fought for control and the streets wrestled with jealousy, the music industry saw opportunity. Nipsey had cracked a code. He owned his masters. He owned his brand. He owned his block. Independence was his crown jewel. And in an
That is a fact, Chad. That is such a fact.
industry built on exploitation, that independence made him dangerous. Suge Knight, from his prison cell, made the claim that connected everything. He said Puffy destabilized Nipsey and his circle by introducing them to harder drugs.
Puffy the one got these dudes on hardcore drugs. He was introducing these guys to different type of level of drugs.
This wasn't just partying, this was weakening a movement. And then he dropped the bomb on Snoop, that Snoop was maneuvering in the shadows, even trying to bail out Keef D, the man tied to Tupac's murder, because Keef was talking too much.
I said, look, I don't have nothing to do with none of that, and I'm not leaving prison to go to nobody county jail. To the point they were saying, well, you can't leave and sacrifice a little bit in the county jail to stop that black man from getting life? Hell the no.
Literally, just weeks after Nipsey's murder, the streets of Los Angeles were thick with suspicion. The Marathon store became sacred ground, but also contested ground. Who had the right to represent Nipsey? Who was speaking for him? And who was using his name for clout? The whispers got louder with every passing day. Longtime affiliates were accused of exploiting Nipsey's name in interviews. Social media posts turned into battlegrounds. Someone would pose by a mural and immediately be accused of chasing fame. Another would claim they were like family and be called a fraud. It was chaos, and that chaos wasn't random. It was the fallout of Nipsey's death leaving a power vacuum. Putting all those pieces together, you can see why people got worked up. They expect Lauren London to understand that she isn't just grieving. She's also holding the weight of Nipsey's empire on her shoulders. She is his torchbearer, and that Snoop getting too close to her is trying to take that torch. Snoop wants something from Nipsey, and he'll do whatever it takes to get. This he has proved in the past. Whether you believe it or not, it almost doesn't matter. What matters is that perception became reality, and the perception was clear. Snoop Dogg wasn't just mourning, he was positioning. Nipsey's death wasn't just a personal loss, it was a political act. By standing beside Lauren, Snoop gained proximity to Nipsey's memory. By gaining proximity, he gained credibility. And by gaining credibility, he strengthened his own position as the elder statesman of the West Coast. To some, it was natural. To others, it was predatory. But in both cases, the outcome was the same. The footage became a symbol of the larger battle for Nipsey's throne. And make no mistake, there was a throne. If you believe what Suge said earlier about Snoop,
Nah, Chad, I don't think it works that way, Chad. Like wait a minute, but I'm saying Suge rose with Snoop and Snoop rose with Big U and them.
then you'd
I don't know.
understand that Nipsey wasn't just taken out by a lone gunman. He was weakened, destabilized, and left vulnerable by forces bigger than the neighborhood. And who else did Suge accuse of playing both sides? Snoop Dogg. That's why the footage hit harder than anyone expected. It wasn't about what was literally happening in the clip. It was about what it represented. To the family, it looked like outsiders stepping in. To the streets, it looked like power shifting. To the industry, it looked like an opportunity. And to the fans, it looked like confirmation of every suspicion they'd been whispering since 2019. And of course, why wouldn't fans be suspicious? Everyone knows exactly who Snoop is. Snoop's history of betrayal. Tupac Shakur, one of the most legendary rappers to ever touch a mic, was gunned down in 1996 in Las Vegas. And in the years since, the story of what really happened that night has been told and retold 1,000 times. But there's one constant. People keep pointing at the people closest to him. And time after time, Snoop's name finds its way into that conversation. The reason is simple. When Tupac was alive, Snoop was his so-called brother in arms. They recorded together. They partied together. They stood on stages together. But behind the scenes, Snoop was cozying up with the very people Pac considered enemies.
That night. When you look at it, Dad said that, hey, we weren't going. Snoop was on, death row, basically Tupac and everything above. And something gonna happen.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Warren G says that Snoop was at his house watching the fight, and he had the walkie-talkie, the radio.
For instance, Big Dre, allegedly in the car with Keith D the night Tupac was killed. You'd think anyone with loyalty to Pac would stay miles away from someone like that, not Snoop. He worked with Big Dre on a mixtape after Tupac died. When Tupac died in 1996, Snoop was in a complicated position. Their relationship had been strained in Pac's final days, but after the death, Snoop emerged as one of Pac's loudest mourners, aligning himself with the tragedy as well as the person linked to it, and reshaping his image in the process. Let that sink in. Your brother is murdered. The suspects are still in plain sight. And instead of distancing yourself, you're cutting records with them. That's not loyalty. That's betrayal. And Snoop's betrayal of Pac didn't stop there. He's been caught over and over embellishing stories about Pac, sometimes twisting the truth, other times outright fabricating events. For example, he once claimed Tupac was the one who introduced him to blunts. Sounds like a cool story, right? Except the math doesn't add up. Cameron Diaz herself admitted she used to buy weed from Snoop back in high school, which means Snoop had been deep in that lifestyle long before Pac came around. So why lie? Why create this fake bond with Tupac after the fact? The answer is image, legacy. Snoop knows the public loves to see him as part of Pac's inner circle, so he rewrites history to fit that narrative. Napoleon from Tupac's own Outlaws crew called him out on this. That's a false narrative. Pac wasn't disliked in prison, he was respected. Snoop just made that up. Even Nas got dragged into Snoop's web of lies. Snoop once told a story about Tupac confronting Nas at the 1996 VMAs, claiming Nas rolled up with 100 shooters and Pac was reckless. But according to Napoleon, who was actually there, that showdown never happened the way Snoop described. In reality, Pac and Nas handled it like gentlemen, squashing any misunderstanding on the spot. Nas himself confirmed Snoop's version was nonsense. So again, the pattern. Create myths after someone dies, position yourself as their brother, and distract people from the fact that your actions while they were alive told a different story. Now let's talk about Biggie. Snoop has often painted himself as being close to Biggie, especially after Tupac's death. He's told stories of heartfelt conversations, moments of peace and respect between them. But according to Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, that's all media spin.
But yet still, Big came out to California, and you don't see not one picture of him and Snoop together. You don't see not one place where they smoked a blunt together. Both of them like to smoke. We was in the studio with Bone Thugs and Harmony. Snoop never came over there. So you tell me, was they really that cool? Or it was just a facade that was put up?
Gene Deal questioned why, if Snoop and Biggie were so close, they never hung out when Biggie was in LA. But somehow Snoop claims he saw Biggie in Atlanta after Pac's death. Come on, man. Once again, the narrative doesn't match the reality. Which brings us right back to Nipsey Hussle. Because if you're seeing the pattern, you already know what happened next.
Man. I just want to send prayers out to Nipsey Hussle and his family.
Hey, yo.
London and her family.
Full of shit, aren't we?
Nipsey dies. Snoop cries. Snoop calls him my dear brother and more. Then he
What
drops a
a
tribute
bullshit.
record. He tells the world
How
Nipsey was
cheat
the new
are we
Snoop, and fans in their
today?
grief eat it up. But when you look closer, you start seeing the cracks. Snoop mourned Nipsey, yes, but he was also caught hanging out with Big U, the very man Nipsey warned others about. Nipsey had a diss track aimed directly at Big U, making it clear he didn't want to be controlled or extorted. Everybody knows Big U was shaking Nipsey down, making him pay protection fees. When Nipsey stopped paying, he ended up dead. And yet Snoop enjoyed Big U's company. So once again, history repeats, just like with Tupac, just like with Biggie. When the legend is
Looking at
alive,
the
Snoop
body.
aligns with their
Anyway,
enemies. When the legend is gone, Snoop steps forward to rewrite the story, putting himself at
I
the center
digress.
as the
I digress.
grieving
I get
brother.
distracted.
This
My
is
bad.
why Nipsey's death can no longer be looked at as a random hit.
It's
Eric
not a
Holder may
random
have
hit
pulled the
at
trigger,
all.
but Eric Holder didn't orchestrate the play. There were bigger forces, hidden hands, people with more to lose if Nipsey succeeded. And thanks to these leaks, it looks like Snoop is now confirming what the streets have always whispered. Lauren London wasn't just caught in the middle. She might have been on the inside all along. Towards the end of Nipsey's life, he started distancing himself from certain industry events,
That's what
refusing
I'm
to check
saying.
in
What do you
or play the
mean?
extortion games. If only Nipsey had realized the friend by his side had connections to the very forces he was trying to escape,
That's what I'm
maybe
saying.
things would have been different. Because if there's one thing Snoop has proven time and time again, it's that he knows how to survive. The ripple effect of Nipsey's death. When Nipsey Hussle was murdered on March 31st, 2019, it wasn't just another tragic headline in the hip-hop world. It was an earthquake that shattered millions of lives, sending shockwaves through music, culture, and communities around the world. For many, Nipsey wasn't just an artist they listened to in the car or streamed on Spotify. He was a living, breathing example of possibility. He stood as proof that you could come from nothing, rise above the chaos of the streets, and build something lasting without selling out to the system. Fans loved him not only because of his music, but because he lived what he rapped. He didn't just spit verses about ownership, he owned his masters. He didn't just talk about reinvesting in the hood, he built businesses in Crenshaw and gave jobs to people who had been written off by society. And he didn't just rap about loyalty, he stood by his community even after fame and money gave him everything.
If that's the case, he's extremely dangerous because everybody has learned how to make money from artists by stealing their masters, by stealing their publishing. So this man here comes up out of nowhere, owning his own shit. That's a threat to the whole industry. Everybody he works with, because everybody he works with, they're gonna ask him, "How are you free from the labels? How do you own your own shit?" And then he's gonna teach them, and then they're gonna leave their label. I don't think the labels are interested in that happening.
Chance to leave it behind. So when the news broke that Nipsey had been gunned down in front of his own Marathon store, a place that had become a symbol of his vision, the reaction was raw, immediate, and overwhelming.
It's crazy how the street.
Okay, chat. It is time for spin the fucking wheel of destiny. All right, guys. Hope everybody's ready. We're about to spin the fucking wheel of destiny. And hope you guys are excited. Here we go. Let's see what it says. Spin the fucking wheel of destiny. And we are going to spin it now. Let's go. What does it say? Give away $5 on Cash App. All right, chat. You got 60 seconds to type in the chat winner, and whoever types in winner will get a $5 Cash App. First person to type winner is going to get a Cash App for $5, guys. I'm looking at the chat. Whoever types winner in the next 60 seconds, chat. The next 60 seconds. I want to see who's going to type winner. Whoever types winner. First person to type winner. We are sending you $5. First person to type winner, chat. First person to type winner, chat. And we got 35 seconds left, chat. First person to type winner in the chat gets $5 Cash App. Let's go, chat. Where's the hype, chat? Good question, Jug the 15. Where is the hype, chat? Who's gonna type winner? Who's gonna type winner? And is a wrap. It's a wrap, chat. It's a wrap, chat. All right, we'll spin the wheel one more time at the end of this episode. Let's go.
Streets don't love it, but we still be loving the streets and shit.
In Los Angeles, people flooded the streets. Outside the marathon, crowds gathered, leaving flowers, candles, handwritten letters, and murals. People cried openly, hugging strangers, because they all felt like they had lost a family member. And in a way, they had. Nipsey had been the voice of South Central, but his reach stretched across the world. Murals appeared not only in Los Angeles, but in cities across the country. From Houston to New York to Chicago. Even overseas, from London to Lagos, people painted Nipsey's face on walls, declaring that the marathon continues. Social media lit up with tributes, hashtags, and emotional posts. For weeks, it felt like the entire culture had stopped to grieve. Fans weren't just mourning the man, they were mourning what he stood for. They looked at Nipsey and saw a blueprint for a better future. He was proof that you could turn your back on the industry's tricks, hold on to your independence, and still thrive. His death left people asking a painful question. If someone like Nipsey, someone building businesses, helping his people, staying true to himself, could be struck down like this, what hope was left? Nipsey's death didn't just devastate fans, it devastated the very artists who had grown up watching him. For younger rappers, Nipsey wasn't just a peer, he was a mentor, a big brother, a living example of how to navigate the industry without losing yourself. Roddy Ricch has said openly Nipsey's support helped him break into the mainstream. Nipsey gave him advice, co-signed his talent, and pushed him to believe that he could achieve more. For Roddy, losing Nipsey wasn't just losing a collaborator, it was losing a guiding light. YG, Nipsey's closest collaborator, broke down in public after the murder. He admitted he had lost more than a partner, he lost his brother. Their joint track, Last Time That I Checked, had become an anthem. But beyond the music, they were two men who wanted to change the streets they came from. YG said Nipsey made him think bigger, look beyond fame, and build something that would last. With Nipsey gone, YG confessed it felt like part of his vision had died too. Even heavyweights like Kendrick Lamar and Jay-Z made it clear that Nipsey's impact went far beyond music. Kendrick, known for his own conscious lyricism, saluted Nipsey as someone who represented the best of Los Angeles, gritty, independent, visionary. Jay-Z went even further, quietly setting up a trust fund for Nipsey's children, Imani and Cross, ensuring that the legacy Nipsey left behind would not die with him. That move alone spoke volumes about how deeply Nipsey was respected by the highest levels of hip-hop. Nipsey's reach even extended into athletes, actors, and politicians. LeBron James called him an inspiration. Barack Obama sent a letter to Nipsey's memorial, praising him for his commitment to his community. That's how powerful Nipsey's presence was. He wasn't just a rapper, he was a leader who crossed cultural lines. And perhaps the most devastating part, Nipsey was only just beginning. His album Victory Lap had finally cemented him as a Grammy-nominated star. It was the project he had spent years perfecting, and it proved he could succeed on his own terms. But Victory Lap was just the beginning of what Nipsey had planned. Behind the scenes, Nipsey was building a real estate empire in South Central. He wasn't buying houses in Beverly Hills. He was buying the very blocks he grew up on, determined to transform them into safe havens for the next generation. He was investing in tech startup, pushing for STEM programs for kids in the hood, and creating opportunities that would outlive any record deal. He spoke often about wanting to be more than a rapper. He wanted to be a mogul, someone who could shift the balance of power in hip-hop away from the corporations and back into the hands of the artists. Other rappers didn't see Nipsey as competition. They saw him as a leader. They saw him clearing the path, making it easier for the next wave to build ownership and independence. With Nipsey alive, the West Coast had not just a star, but a visionary capable of reshaping the entire industry. With him gone, that momentum was cut short. The marathon, his clothing brand, and his message still live on, but the full scope of what Nipsey could have achieved was stolen the moment those shots rang out in front of his store. That's why Nipsey's death hit so hard. It wasn't just about losing a man, it was about losing a future. Fans saw him as a symbol of hope. Artists saw him as a blueprint for independence. Communities saw him as proof that someone could rise up from the hood and bring everyone else with him. And when that was taken away, it felt like the system had won again. The same old story, a visionary cut down just as he was about to change the game. But if there's one thing Nipsey always said, it's that the marathon continues. And in the wake of his death, those words became a rallying cry. Murals, tattoos, social media media posts, songs, and movements, all dedicated to keeping Nipsey's vision alive. Still, no tribute, no mural, no hashtag can erase the pain of knowing what was lost. Nipsey Hussle wasn't just another rapper. He was a leader, a teacher, a father, and a businessman. And his death wasn't just a personal tragedy, it was a cultural robbery. But here's the most painful twist. As fans mourned and artists pledged to carry on Nipsey's legacy, whispers began to spread that maybe this wasn't just another senseless act of violence. Maybe it wasn't just Eric Holder pulling the trigger. Maybe the people closest to Nipsey, the ones who should have protected him, were the ones holding the door open for his enemies. That's why fans today aren't just grieving Nipsey's death. They're angry. Angry at the idea that someone like Diddy, with his endless influence and power, could have pulled strings behind the scenes. Angry at the suggestion that Lauren London, the woman who stood on stage and sobbed for Nipsey, might have been closer to Diddy than anyone realized. And angry at Snoop Dogg, Nipsey's so-called brother, who always seems to show up at the center of these tragedies with a eulogy on his lips but questions hanging over his loyalty. The grief of losing Nipsey turned into suspicion. Suspicion turned into outrage. And outrage turned into a demand for answers. Fans are not content with Eric Holder did it anymore. They see the bigger picture. Nipsey wasn't just murdered by a man. He was silenced by a system of power, greed, betrayal, and manipulation. And the more you connect the dots, the footage of Snoop and Lauren looking too close, the tapes allegedly tying Lauren to Diddy's world, Snoop's history of betrayal with Tupac and Biggie, the more you realize that Nipsey's death wasn't the end of the marathon. It was the start of a much darker race. Because what the fans and artists lost wasn't just Nipsey, it was the future he was building for them. And the hardest pill to swallow, that future may have been stolen not by strangers, but by the very people who stood closest to him. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video,
Came back with a red shirt on, tiptoed through the alley, and went right and started shooting.
Black Sam has always spoken out about the truth behind his brother's death, but now he's taken it a step further. He just dropped new CCTV footage from Nipsey's store, capturing the final moments of the murder. And this footage doesn't just show the tragedy, it reveals critical evidence about who actually orchestrated the hit. Let me break it down. Black Sam leaks new footage. The CCTV footage everyone is talking about comes from a nearby business overlooking Nipsey's Marathon clothing store. In the video, you see a man in a red shirt moving quietly through an alley before stepping toward the storefront. Seconds later, he opens fire. Nipsey collapses to the ground while terrified bystanders scatter in every direction. What makes the footage even more disturbing is what happens next. The shooter pauses, returns to fire again, and then viciously kicks Nipsey before fleeing back through the alley. Moments later, he's seen escaping in a car driven by a waiting woman. For Black Sam and the Asghedom family, this footage is more than evidence. It's a haunting reminder that one of their own was left vulnerable, and that's the part that stings the most. Because if you know anything about how real players move in the streets, you know security is never taken lightly. When you're somebody like Nipsey, with that influence, that bread, that respect, you don't pull up without protection. That's not how G's move. And the Asghedom family, they knew this better than anyone.
We in the doorway. When Hustle pull up, we in the doorway. You gonna see me with a hoodie on, and I got a pistol on me. You're gonna see one of the team members in the hoodie, in the doorway with a pistol. That's protocol.
That's real hood discipline. That's how you move when you know jealousy and envy can turn deadly in seconds. Sam and his crew ran things like a unit, armed security at the doorways, eyes on the perimeter, always ready to handle whatever might pop off. But here's the heartbreaking twist. On the one day, the one freaking day, that protocol fell apart. Eric Holder decided to strike.
So it's Sunday, it's busy in there. Why the in there didn't follow the protocol? I wasn't there. Why they didn't follow it? Maybe they was around helping the customer, doing some customer service. This is what I'm thinking, trying to, transition into some legitimate selling clothes. But nobody was in the doorway.
Man, that hurt to even hear. You can feel the pain and frustration in Sam's voice because he knows that if he had been there, if the protocol had been followed, his little brother would still be alive today. The LA homegirl who spoke on this situation immediately recognized how messed up it was that there was no security at the marathon that day. In the hood, everybody knows that a spot like that, with a figure like Nipsey, should always have straps on deck. The fact that nobody was strapped, that nobody even shot back during the attack, was a dead giveaway that something wasn't right. But Holder wasn't just moving off pure luck. This dude was moving tactical, and that's what makes this whole situation even more sinister.
From my understanding, old boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene because he know what's going on in that parking lot, and had a conversation. Probably seen nobody was in the doorways. Checked Hustle had on shorts. Checked everybody else.
Y'all catching this? This dude came through first without a shirt on. conducting what can only be described as a scouting mission. He was checking for
For who?
security, looking for armed
Who was
guards,
he scouting
assessing the
for?
threat level.
Who
And
was
when
he
he saw that
communicating
the
with?
doorways were empty, when he realized that the usual protocol had broken down, he knew he had his window of opportunity. This ain't no heat of the moment crime of passion bull. This is tactical warfare, street soldier type planning. Holder was moving like he had intelligence, like he knew something about their security setup, like he had been watching and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The next part of Sam's revelation is what really exposes the calculated nature of this whole operation.
Left. They say came back with a red shirt on, tiptoed through the alley, and went right and started shooting.
Now, if you from the hood, if you understand gang politics and street codes, you know that the choice of a red shirt wasn't random.
Number one, there's no red shirts in the hood. You can't buy no red shirt. No liquor store sell no red shirt.
That's some real street knowledge right there. In Crip territory, you ain't finding no red clothing in the stores because everybody knows what that color represents. The fact that Holder showed up in red was
I didn't even know
deliberate
that.
psychological warfare
That's
designed to make
very
people think
disciplined.
this was some gang retaliation instead of what it really was.
Number two, when it come through the alley with a red shirt, that's the throw off. Or the Bloods did it. Or the Inglewood families did it. Or the BPS, that's the throw off, red shirt.
This is some next level manipulation, some psychological operation stuff. Whoever was behind this understood street politics well enough to know that a red shirt would immediately make people think gang war instead of assassination. It was misdirection designed to throw off both witnesses and investigators.
So to me, that's premeditated.
And Sam is absolutely right. This wasn't no spontaneous act of violence. This was a well-planned operation that took advantage of a security breakdown that may not have been as accidental as it appeared. The tragedy is that Sam, the big brother, the protector, the enforcer who had always kept Nipsey safe, wasn't there when his brother needed him most.
We had spots in the hood. So one of the spots we had little weed spots, 24-hour spot. And I think it was my boy who usually do one of the shifts. I had to cover one of the shifts. And so I think I was in it all night.
Sam was handling business, maintaining their operations, doing what needed to be done to keep their organization running smoothly. This wasn't negligence. This was a hardworking older brother making sure all aspects of their empire were covered. But the streets can be unforgiving, and sometimes being in the right place, doing the right thing, still leads to tragic consequences. The team at the Marathon, without Sam's presence, had gotten comfortable. They were trying to operate more like a regular clothing store, focusing on customer service and legitimate business practices. In most circumstances, this would be considered growth and maturation, but in their environment, with the type of enemies that success inevitably creates, letting their guard down was a fatal mistake. The questions that remain are disturbing. Did someone have advanced knowledge that security would be compromised that day? Was the timing of Sam's absence from the Marathon truly coincidental? Did someone ensure that the usual protocols wouldn't be followed? These aren't conspiracy theories. These are logical questions that arise when you examine the systematic nature of the security failures that enabled this assassination. Truth from the trenches. Now that y'all understand the security breakdown that made this assassination possible, we need to get into the real nitty-gritty about what actually went down during that conversation.
It's not a
between Nipsey and
laughing
Eric
matter,
Holder.
Chad.
And I'm telling y'all right now, everything you think you know about this
talking serious,
conversation
though.
is straight up bull. The mainstream media, the courtroom proceedings, even some of the hip-hop blogs, they all been pushing a narrative that's designed to make it seem like Nipsey brought this on himself. But when you hear the real story from the only cat who was actually there for the whole conversation, you're gonna realize how deep this deception really goes. Herman Cowboy Douglas is the realist in this whole situation because he's the only one who was standing right there when every word was spoken. He ain't got no reason to lie, no agenda to push, no money to make off changing the story. He's just a dude who was there doing his job, protecting his homie, and he'd been trying to set the record straight for years while everybody else been spreading lies. The picture they painted in court and in the media is some heated confrontation where Nipsey directly called Eric Holder a snitch, basically signing his own death warrant by disrespecting a dangerous man in front of everybody. But that ain't what happened, and Cowboy been trying to tell dudes the truth since day one.
So even like I said, you gotta realize, okay, Nip is a celebrity, so we out there, people taking pictures.
Yeah.
So you walk up, let me get a selfie, people taking pictures, signing. So basically when Eric get out, you know, and they talk, the split second that they had, it was a brief conversation. So it wasn't a 10, 20, 30-minute conversation.
See, this is the real context that's been missing from all the sensationalized reporting. Nipsey was in his natural element, doing what he always did, showing love to his community, taking pictures with fans, signing autographs, being the people's champion. This wasn't no tense situation. This wasn't no standoff. This was Nipsey being Nipsey, spreading that positive energy that made him beloved in the first place. When Eric Holder walked up, it was in the context of old associates reconnecting, not enemies confronting each other.
So So you ain't seen your partner in a while. You ain't seen your associate. Y'all grew up together. Yeah. You ain't seen your friend in a while. He push up on you. Hey, and Nipsey, it's some floating around, take care of it.
This is some real hood stuff right here. The way older, more established cats in the neighborhood look out for the younger dudes who might be getting into situations they can't handle. This wasn't about disrespect or confrontation. This was about community, about one successful brother trying to put another brother on game about some rumors that were circulating. Now here's where we get to the heart of the matter, and this is the part that's gonna make y'all realize just how twisted this whole narrative has become.
Like on a homie tip, like, hey bro, like look, you got some paperwork, you need to take care of it. You know what I'm talking about? Like it ain't cool, like not, oh, you a snitch, never.
Y'all hear that? Never. Nipsey never called Eric Holder a snitch. The word snitch never came out of Nipsey's mouth during that conversation. What Nipsey did was what real OGs do. He put Holder on game about some paperwork that was floating around, some rumors about cooperation with law enforcement that could put Holder in danger in their neighborhood. This is some real street mentorship. Nipsey was essentially saying, look bro, I'm hearing some things about you that could put you in a bad position. You need to address this situation before it becomes a bigger problem. That's looking out for somebody, not attacking them.
He just said, bro, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's areas over there you can't really wear. They don't sell nothing red.
You know what I'm talking about?
Fuck a red shirt, nothing red. Not even red shoes.
The conversation was brief, respectful, and ended with Nipsey moving on to the next person who wanted to interact with him. There was no heated exchange, no threats, no disrespect from either side. Holder made some comment about haters. Nipsey essentially said, handle your business, and that was it. The tone and atmosphere of this interaction is crucial to understand.
It was never nothing heated. If it had been anything somewhat heated, I would have snatched cuz up. Yeah. You know what I mean? If Nip would have had anything heated, you know what I mean? It was a quick pull to the side, like, hey bro, take care of that business. Feel me? Nothing confrontational whatsoever.
This is something real right here. Cowboy is Nipsey's security, his muscle, his enforcer. If there had been any hint of disrespect, any suggestion that this conversation was getting heated, he would have immediately stepped in. The fact that he allowed Holder's girl to take a picture with Nipsey, the fact that they all shook hands at the end, proves that this was a peaceful interaction.
You know what I mean? Nothing whatsoever. He even said, got some paperwork, I ain't seen it, but you need to take care of it. Basically, was giving him a lookout, like looking out for him.
This is the part that makes Eric Holder's response so incomprehensible and tragic. Nipsey wasn't attacking him, wasn't disrespecting him, wasn't trying to punk him in front of people. Nipsey was actually looking out for him, trying to protect him from a situation that could have gotten him hurt or killed in their neighborhood. If anything, Nipsey was being the bigger man, the wiser voice, the community leader who was trying to help someone navigate a dangerous situation. This is what real leadership looks like in the hood. Not throwing your weight around or trying to embarrass people, but quietly pulling cats to the side.
Chad, but you gotta understand that
could save their lives.
The
female companion's testimony,
a lot of evidence
actually supports Cowboy's version of events and reveals even more disturbing details about Eric Holder's mindset.
Because I guess the way he was just like, cuz, have you ever snitched on somebody, cuz this, cuz that.
That's what Nipsey was saying?
That's what Eric was saying.
Nipsey
wasn't like saying nothing. He was just like, nah, like that,
Hold up. So according to the only female witness, it wasn't even Nipsey who brought up snitching, it was Eric Holder himself. Holder was the one acting paranoid, the one bringing up accusations, the one trying to start something. Nipsey's response was basically, nah, we ain't even on that type of time.
To me, it sounded like, kind of like he was trying to be a little messy. Like I wasn't kind of like getting into it, but because I'm not the messy type, I'm just like kind of like listening, but I'm just like, okay, like what is he talking about? Like to myself though.
So we got Eric Holder being messy, trying to start drama, bringing up things that didn't need to be discussed, while Nipsey is trying to keep things calm and respectful. Even Holder's own girl could see that he was being extra, trying to create problems where none existed. Cowboy has been fighting to correct this narrative for years, and his frustration is understandable.
I mean, what do I gain? Why, if Nip did call him a snitch, say, oh yeah, he was a snitch. Okay, I would say that. That still don't justify what he did. I still gonna smash for what's right and what's wrong. Okay, I would say, yeah, Nip did do that. But no, he didn't. You know what I mean? So there's no need for me to Why would I hide that piece of truth?
This is some real talk from a real dude. Cowboy is making it clear that even if Nipsey had called Holder a snitch, it wouldn't justify murder. But more importantly, he's emphasizing that he has no reason to lie about what happened. If Nipsey had been disrespectful, if he had been the aggressor, Cowboy would admit it. The fact that he's insisting that Nipsey was respectful and was actually looking out for Holder makes his testimony even more powerful.
Nip never disrespected that man. I took it more or less Nip was looking out for him. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't seen you in a while, you know, some around. You need to go ahead and take care of that.
This is the truth that's been buried under years of media sensationalism and courtroom theatrics. Nipsey Hussle didn't disrespect Eric Holder. He didn't provoke a confrontation. He didn't sign his own death warrant with careless words. What he did was what he always did. He looked out for his community, gave advice to someone who needed it, and tried to help a fellow brother navigate a dangerous situation. The conversation was respectful, brief, and ended peacefully. There was nothing in those 4 minutes that could reasonably be interpreted as justification for murder. The fact that Eric Holder took friendly advice and somehow twisted it into a reason to commit murder reveals everything we need to know about his mental state and
Well, chat, that's where we're going to leave it at. It looks like he's just repeating everything all over again, but as you can see, chat, it is crazy. We're going to end this one with a song, and it's going to be this one right here, chat. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And thank you for stopping by, chat. Appreciate everybody who came and dropped by and dropped a comment. Let's get right into this right here. So this is by Chichi Meds. It's called Mi Amiga y Mi Enemiga.
Mami, te lo digo, no podemos ser amigos. Mientras ese tipo esté vivo, no podemos ser amigos. Mientras esté vivo, tú y yo nunca seremos amigos. Seremos amigos, seremos amigos. Mientras ese tipo siga vivo, no seremos amigos, no seremos nada mío. Wow, sorry, mira, te pasaste. Mira cómo me dejaste como Guatemala. Yo no compito, chamaquita, pues la macate. Pero lo que brilla en oro, el mío de 14 quilates. Fíjate, yo te dije no hay empate. Soy trapero, baby, soy un gangster. Keep that bitch, I don't need another side chick. She gas it like she think that I'm an option. So you a friend of mine, he croak? Friend of me's a joke. How come he get smoke? Got the oodles with the poles ready to get low. Do you hear that? Shh, they will turn you into gold. Mientras ese tipo te vivo, tú y yo no seramos amigos, no seramos. Mientras tú y yo éramos amigos, ese tipo no está vivo. Pero mientras él siga vivo, tú y yo no seremos amigos. No será mi amiga, mis amigos no janguean con mi enemigo. Negativo, 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 negativo. ¿Qué? Dale negativo a la copia, eso es negativo. Negativo, negativo. ¿Qué? Negativo a la copia, así que dale negativo. Mientras esté vivo, tú y yo nunca seremos amigos. Mientras esté vivo, tú y yo nunca seremos amigos. Nunca seremos amigos.
Let's see what other one. Oh, this one.
Rance, did you really make this?
A lot of times in life, we want what we can't get. But that's the way life works. Don't break
The grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, or you can fly. Yeah, the grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Say good fucking bye. 163 East 178. Shorty said that she don't sniff, but then she licked the fucking plate. Shorty says she know me, but she don't remember what's my name. Shorty says she know my type, but she don't really know my taste. If you knew me, then you know that talking's really just a waste. Shorty tryna dunk the ball, but she don't drive it through the paint. Shorty wastes her only question asking me if I am gay. But her friend asked me if she could have a threesome, stay up at my place. Yeah, that's a good use of your only question. Shorty, did I mention that I'm the Medina that required the most attention? And I'm the most hated since we're fucking venting. And I got a felony, last time I got sentenced. Greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Yeah, if grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Say good fucking grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Yeah, if grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Say good fucking bye.
I have so much. Stream the whole time, nobody said nothing. Oof, we're gonna have to look at that stream again.
Grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Yeah, if grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Say good fucking grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Yeah, if grass is greener on the other side. Shorty, you ain't gotta stay, you can fucking fly. Say good fucking bye.
It's way harder, it's way harder, it's way harder. It's way harder, it's way harder. Trust me, it's way harder. Not being strong. It's way harder, way harder, way harder. Not giving up. It's way harder, it's way harder.
I went from the park bench to getting paid. I've been getting locked up since the 8th grade. Niggas say that I should just be locked away. Some say that I'm a monster, should be locked away. I'm on the block with the Utah. Move out the way, bitch, my name is Luda. Niggas think I'm so cause niggas are Buddha. You think that the monks protected from looters. That's why you need LP, so you... Yeah. Oh, na. Cold nights on the block, no dreams, no shine. Empty pocket counting stars like they're mine. Had a heart full of cracks like a pavement line. Now I'm here with a glow, watch the whole world align. Felt like a ghost, now I'm seeing I'm alive. From the shadows I rose, now the vibes thrive. From hopeless to blessed, we rise no less. Living life to the best. No stress, no mess. We dance in the rain till the sun confess. From hopeless to blessed, yeah, we're truly blessed. Used to run from the pain, now I'll face it bold. Turning dust in my hand to the purest gold. Every step, every scar is a story told. Now I walk like a king in a crown untold. Hard times couldn't break me, but they shaped.
Nice. All right, Chad. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate everybody. We listened to some indie music. You guys can't complain. And I want to give a shout out to everybody who got a chance to drop something in the chat box. And guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Really do love when everybody shows up. So round of applause for yourself. Thank you so much. And you already know that. Until the next one. Peace.